So this is day 22 of my HRT journey, and I'm not posting every day because there's no point, right? It can take up to 6 months for you to see real effects and your body to get used to taking HRT. So I want to post regularly, but not too regular that I can't even give you an update. So when I last spoke, it was day 11. I was just taking estrogen. I think I just said my skin had stopped itching. I'd gone for a run and felt like I had a bit of a more bounce, and I wasn't sure if that was the estrogen or not. I was also really making sure that I hydrated and fueled my body. I would repeatedly say that, I have worked a lot on my diet and lifestyle prior to taking HRT. So I don't really have lots of your typical symptoms. I feel like I've got lots of that under control. And what I'm looking for here is the difference between just feeling okay and feeling, brilliant. I want the resilience to keep up the life that I have, which is quite physically active. I'm always on the go. I love being social. I love being, out and about in my business. I want to keep up with my daughter. I want to be physically active and about and everywhere. And I don't want to go and hide away for perimenopause. So that's why I was looking at estrogen. So the next thing I noticed was I went away at the weekend. I went away for 4 days and I went to Wales and I hiked up Snowdon. It was quite an active weekend with an active bunch of people, and I said yes to everything. I did the hike up Snowdon, which I've done before. For me, physically, that was very achievable. I knew I could do that. Mentally, I knew I could nail it. And then I did a sea swim, I did a 5K run, and then we did another big hike. And I had felt a bit dodgy in my throat after the Snowdon one, actually. But then on the Sunday going home, I felt full of cold, and I was like, oh, here we go again. This is my recovery. This is my inability to recover as quick as I used to and getting wiped out from doing too much. So I was really quite annoyed, actually, because I was a bit like, for fuck's sake, this is what I want to do. I had an amazing weekend and I was more than physically capable of doing all of those things. And I think I find the recovery hugely frustrating. Anyway, since then, I had a cold for a couple of days, but now I feel, well, up until today, I felt great. And I felt like I was bounced back really quickly. So that is one positive. Then the second positive was my friend who I shared a room with said she actually felt unwell as well. So I think it was just a virus. I don't think it was my resilience. I think I had a brilliantly active weekend, caught a bug, and I recovered quickly. So perhaps estrogen has really had positive benefit there. So that I'm very grateful for. And I'll keep monitoring that. The other thing is I have been fueling better and hydrating well. I also had some blood tests done, and it highlighted that my thyroid is playing up, which I already knew. I have antibodies, and so I do have autoimmune, but they were unsure which way. So I did decide to remove gluten out of my diet, which something in my world is recommended often if you have an autoimmune. And I considered it over the years, but not pursued it because I love bread at the end of the day. But now I've seen my thyroid really is playing up. I'm committed to taking that out to see if it makes a difference, again, with my energy and my brain fog and everything like that. And your thyroid does typically peak, like problems peak with it in your 40s. And of course, it's a hormone, right? So you will be impacted during perimenopause. And so there's lots of things going on. HRT might even help my thyroid to an extent stabilise. But again, so will all the diet and lifestyle things I do alongside that. So that was that. Then what else happened? Yes, so I recovered quite quickly in the last 3 days. And then last night was the first day that I was due to take progesterone. So the progesterone I'm taking day 1 to 14 of the calendar month. And that's because my cycles are hugely varied, right? They range from 35 days to 55 days. So there's no way to align it accurately to my cycle. So I do take my temperature daily, which normally helps me work out when I ovulate and where I am in my cycle. But for ease and compliance, that and HRT, because you have to take a progesterone if you've got a womb alongside estrogen, is for me to take progesterone day 1 to 14. So I took it, you take it before you go to bed basically. So I took 2 capsules last night. I did go to bed probably a bit later than normal. I normally naturally wake up about 6 in the morning and get up and feel great. I don't struggle that much with my sleep, apart from the fact that I sleep with a child who's 5 and quite fidgety and annoying, but I don't wake up in the night and all those kind of things and can't get back to sleep. And last night I slept, and I remember waking up and seeing the time about 6:30, and then I must have just passed out again, and I woke up at about 20 to 8. So, and I woke up feeling really groggy. Like my brain felt like it was really struggling to work. I felt really slow. Everyone, my daughter was asleep. She was late for school. No one was up, basically. And it was a really crappy start to the day. And I felt jet lagged. It was weird, really, really groggy. Now, this is actually quite common. So it can happen the first few nights that you start taking progesterone. You can also have an intolerance of progesterone where you could feel anxious and sick and things like that, headaches. There's side effects to everything. At the end of the day, I'm taking a medication. I'm, putting something in my body that isn't naturally there. Well, it is naturally there, but I'm putting it in an immediate dose that is being absorbed into my body, which isn't the natural way it would be seeped into your blood. So then, so I felt really, really rubbish, and had a few cups of coffee, had my hair done, and I actually felt a lot better this afternoon. So it has cleared. So tonight I'm a bit like, I don't really want to wake up tomorrow like it, but so hopefully that'll pass fairly quickly. So that's quite interesting. I had the theory in my head that progesterone is going to be the one that makes the big difference and make me feel great, and it made me feel really crap. So that's that really. So my skin stopped itching. And then the only other thing I was just going to say about the doctors. So I went to the doctors, got my prescription. That's how I got it and everything. And luckily I checked on my NHS app, and it was put in as a one-off prescription. So it's not even on repeat prescription. And of course, now I'm on it, I need to keep on it. It's a bit frustrating that every month you have to physically go to a pharmacy to pick up your HRT. But not only that, now I've got the drama of contacting the doctors, and my GP's nightmare to say, I need a repeat prescription. I do not even have a prescription ready to get my second month's dose. So that's frustrating. And if I hadn't looked, it would have messed up my whole journey, because I'm already, in a routine. I know when I should be taking all of this, my estrogen, my progesterone, and all of that would have just gone out the window when I realised I had no prescription. So that's my journey so far. Feel free to comment and ping me or anything like that. I'd love to hear your journey. I know lots of people on Instagram are posting me, and there's another lady who's literally starting HRT like a day or something behind me, and she's on day 2 of her progesterone and she felt better today. So it's really, really great that we do share stories like this.